Few places test human limits like a sheer granite cliff, vertical, exposed, merciless. For most of us, just looking up sparks awe and fear. But for a rare few, that fear is fuel. They climb it, alone, no ropes, no second chances. Now imagine taking that same fearless precision and dropping it into a war zone. This is the story of Master Chief Lou Langlais, elite free solo climber and legendary Navy SEAL. A man who moved between two of the world's most dangerous arenas with unwavering calm, unmatched skill, and an unbreakable commitment to his brothers in arms. To truly understand a man like Lou Langlais, we need to appreciate the unique historical and cultural currents that shaped him. He came of age in the late 20th century, a period of profound transition. Born in Quebec, Canada, on October 5, 1966, his early years were marked by a pivotal move to the sun-drenched, idyllic coastal city of Santa Barbara, California. This landscape of beaches and mountains would become the backdrop of his youth, but it was also the setting for a formative tragedy. When Lou was just 9 years old, his father passed away. The loss of a parent at such a tender age is a profound event, one that often forces a young person to cultivate a deep well of independence, self-reliance, and an inner resilience far beyond their years. This early encounter with loss undoubtedly played a role in shaping the quiet, determined man he would become. Growing up in Southern California in the 1970s and 80s offered a unique cultural blend. It was the era of surf and skate culture, but it was also a golden age for American rock climbing. For a young man seeking challenges, the towering granite walls of Yosemite National Park and the otherworldly, surreal rock formations of Joshua Tree National Park were not just parks, they were cathedrals of stone, natural gymnasiums that offered an irresistible draw. It was here, in these stunning and unforgiving environments, that Lou Langlais found his true passion, free solo climbing. This is the purest, most dangerous discipline in the sport, involving scaling immense cliffs without the safety net of ropes, harnesses, or any protective equipment. It is a world where the consequences are absolute. One slip, one moment of doubt, one miscalculation means certain death. Langlais didn't just dabble in this extreme sport, he excelled at it. He became a respected figure within the tight-knit climbing community, known for his audacious ascents on some of the most difficult routes and for his uncanny ability to remain impossibly calm in the face of unimaginable danger. Friends and fellow climbers described his almost a zen-like focus on the rock, his methodical fluid movements, and his rare ability to lock down fear, to put it in a box and operate with a clear, uncluttered mind. This wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a crucible. It forged in him the very qualities that would later define him as an elite special operator. Meticulous planning, unwavering self-confidence, and a profound understanding of risk management. In a world where the smallest mistake could have catastrophic consequences, Lou Langlais learned to operate at the absolute peak of his mental and physical capabilities. At the same time, the institution he would one day join, the United States military, was undergoing its own transformation. Langlais enlisted in 1986. This was a critical period for U.S. Special Operations. The shadow of Operation Eagle Claw, the failed Iran hostage rescue mission in 1980, loomed large. That disaster exposed critical flaws in inter-service cooperation and special operations capabilities, leading to a complete overhaul of America's elite forces. The Goldwater-Nichols Act and the Nunn-Cohen Amendment led to the creation of the United States Special Operations Command, SOCOM, in 1987, unifying the various special units under a single command. Units like the Navy's SEAL Team 6, which had been unofficially established in the wake of Eagle Claw, were now part of a more cohesive, better funded, and highly professionalized global force. Lou Langlais was entering a military that was actively redefining what it meant to be an elite warrior, and he was perfectly, uniquely suited for the challenge. Lou Langlais' remarkable journey into the world of the military began in June 1986, when, at the age of 19, he enlisted in the United States Navy. This decision, while perhaps surprising to those who only knew him as a free-spirited climber, reflected a deeper sense of patriotism and an unquenchable desire to test his limits in the most demanding arena imaginable. The Navy, and particularly the elite secretive community of the sea, air, and land teams, SEALs, offered a challenge that resonated with his intense personality and his proven ability to not just survive, but thrive under extreme pressure. His path led him to Coronado, California, the home of basic underwater demolition/SEAL training. In February 1989, Lou graduated with Bud S Class 162. To say that Bud S is difficult is a profound understatement. It is a 6-month crucible of pain, exhaustion, and psychological stress, legendary for its brutal intensity. It is meticulously designed to push recruits to their absolute breaking point and beyond, weeding out all but the most physically robust and mentally indomitable individuals. The infamous Hell Week alone, 5.5 days of continuous training with a maximum of 4 hours of sleep total, sees the vast majority of candidates quit. Langlais' success in this forge, his ability to endure the freezing water, the endless runs in the sand, and the constant pressure from the instructors, speaks volumes about his mental toughness and his unwavering commitment to his goal. Upon pinning on his SEAL Trident, he was assigned to SEAL Team 3, a West Coast-based team with a distinguished history and a primary operational focus in the Middle East. It was with SEAL Team 3 that Langlais saw his first combat deployment, participating in Operation Desert Storm in 1991. While the specifics of his actions during the first Gulf War remain classified, the role of SEALs in that conflict largely involved maritime interdiction operations, reconnaissance, and direct action missions. This early combat experience was invaluable, providing him with a real-world education in operating in hostile environments and solidifying his reputation as a capable and reliable operator. Between 1997 and 2000, Langlais took on a unique and highly visible role, a stark contrast to the shadowy world of special operations. He was selected to serve with the Navy's elite parachute demonstration team, the Leapfrogs. This wasn't just a break from the operational grind. It was an assignment that required a different kind of perfection. As a member of the Leapfrogs, his exceptional physical control and his ability to perform flawlessly under pressure were put to a new test, the precision and spectacle of aerial acrobatics. He became a highly skilled precision parachutist, performing intricate formations in the sky and landing with pinpoint accuracy at air shows, sporting events, and public ceremonies across the country, serving as a public ambassador for the U.S. Navy. It was during his time with the Leapfrogs that one of the more lighthearted and often recounted anecdotes of his career took place. He was tasked with performing a parachute jump into a Florida Marlins baseball game, but with a twist. He was to do it while wearing the cumbersome costume of the team's mascot, Billy the Marlin. As he descended from 6,000 feet, a strong and unexpected gust of wind caught the oversized mascot head, tearing it clean off his body. Suddenly blinded and facing a potentially dangerous aerodynamic situation, Langlais didn't panic. Drawing on the same calm he felt on the rock faces of Yosemite, he coolly assessed the situation, maintained control of his parachute, and executed a perfect landing in a nearby empty field. This incident, while humorous, perfectly illustrated his defining characteristic: an unflappable ability to remain calm, focused, and effective in the face of sudden, unexpected, and potentially chaotic circumstances. In March of 2000, Lou Langlais achieved the goal that every SEAL aspires to. He was selected for assignment to the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, NSWDG, the unit more commonly and mythically known as DevGRU, or SEAL Team 6. This is the Navy's premier counterterrorism and special mission unit, a Tier 1 asset responsible for the most sensitive, clandestine, and high-risk operations around the globe. Selection for DevGRU is an incredibly rigorous process, open only to seasoned SEALs who have proven themselves to be the absolute best of the best. His selection was a clear testament to his exceptional skills, his extensive combat experience, and the immense respect he commanded from his peers and superiors. For the next 11 years, until his tragic death in 2011, Master Chief Langlais was at the tip of the spear in the global war on terror. He served multiple punishing combat deployments in both Iraq and Afghanistan. This was the height of the conflicts, and as a DevGRU operator, he was operating at an unbelievably high tempo, conducting clandestine operations, direct action raids on high-value targets, and hostage rescue missions. He rose through the enlisted ranks within this elite organization, eventually achieving the rank of Master Chief Petty Officer, the highest enlisted rank in the Navy. In this role, he served as a troop chief, a senior enlisted leader responsible for the training, welfare, and operational command of a troop of some of the most highly trained and experienced special operators in the world. He was not just a warrior, he was a leader, a mentor, and a guardian of the men under his charge. A warrior's story is often told through the decorations pinned to their chest, and Master Chief Langlais' uniform told a story of incredible bravery and relentless service in the face of the enemy. While the full list is extensive, his most significant awards for valor paint a vivid picture of the man he was. According to the official records of the National Navy UDT SEAL Museum, his decorations included at least 4 Bronze Star medals with the V device for valor. To understand the weight of this, one must understand what the V device represents. A Bronze Star can be awarded for meritorious service. A Bronze Star with valor is awarded only for acts of heroism, gallantry, or meritorious service in direct conflict with an armed enemy. It signifies that the recipient, under fire and in mortal danger, performed an act of conspicuous bravery. To earn one is a significant honor. To earn 4 places Langlais in a very small and very distinguished group of warriors. He also received 2 Joint Service Commendation Medals, with one of those also bearing the V device for valor. Adding to this tally were 3 Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medals, 3 Combat Action Ribbons, each signifying active participation in ground or surface combat, and a Purple Heart, the solemn award given to those wounded or killed in action. It is worth noting that some sources, like the Los Angeles Times, reported that he had been awarded 5 Bronze Stars. This slight discrepancy is likely due to the ongoing, sometimes slow, process of updating a service member's official records with posthumous awards. Whether 4 or 5, the message is the same. Lou Langlais was a man who consistently and repeatedly ran toward the sound of the guns, who faced down danger with extraordinary courage, and who led his men from the front. These weren't just medals collected over a long career, they were tangible symbols of specific moments of heroism, each one a story of survival, courage, and sacrifice etched in metal and ribbon. The life of Master Chief Louis Langlais, a life so filled with breathtaking feats and selfless service, was tragically and violently cut short in the pre-dawn darkness of August 6, 2011. The event would become known by the call sign of the helicopter involved, Extortion 17. On that fateful morning, a team of U.S. Army Rangers was engaged in a fierce, prolonged firefight with a heavily armed group of Taliban insurgents in the remote and treacherous Tangi Valley of Wardak Province, Afghanistan. The Rangers were taking casualties and called for a Quick Reaction Force, QRF, to reinforce their position and help neutralize the threat. Master Chief Langlais, as part of his DevGru troop, was a key component of that QRF. He and 16 other Navy SEALs, 14 from DevGru and 2 from another West Coast-based SEAL team, along with Army National Guard and Army Reserve aviators, other support personnel, and a military working dog named Bart, boarded a CH-47D Chinook helicopter. The mission was straightforward but fraught with peril. Fly into a hot landing zone in a valley notorious for insurgent activity and turn the tide of the battle. As the large twin-rotor helicopter, Extortion 17, approached its landing zone, slowing to disembark the SEALs, it was struck by a rocket-propelled grenade, RPG, fired by a Taliban fighter, hidden on a nearby ridge. The impact was catastrophic. The Chinook was immediately engulfed in flames and crashed into the valley floor. There were no survivors. All 38 people on board, including Master Chief Langlais, were killed instantly. The crash of Extortion 17 remains the single largest loss of life for U.S. Naval Special Warfare Forces since the beginning of operations in Afghanistan in 2001. For DevGru, the loss of 15 of its operators and leaders in a single moment was devastating. The incident is considered by many within the tight-knit SEAL community as the most costly day in the history of SEAL Team 6. The news sent shockwaves not just through the special operations community, which lost an immense amount of experience and leadership in that valley, but across the entire nation. It was a brutal and heartbreaking reminder of the immense risks faced daily by these elite warriors in the ongoing shadowy fight against terrorism. For the families of the fallen, it was an unimaginable tragedy, a sudden and devastating end to lives that had been so completely dedicated to service and sacrifice. This is the section of a story that would normally be dedicated to controversy or historical debate. But for a man like Lou Langlais, a quiet professional who lived a life of honor and service, there is no personal controversy to dissect. The controversy lies not with the man, but with the tragic event that took his life. The loss of Extortion 17 was so profound that it inevitably led to intense scrutiny and debate, both within the military and in the public sphere. The first and most persistent question revolved around the aircraft itself. Why was a conventional aging CH-47D Chinook used to transport a Tier 1 Special Operations team into a high-threat area, rather than one of the more advanced stealth-modified helicopters of the elite 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, SOAR, the Night Stalkers, who typically fly such missions? Official explanations cited aircraft availability, but for years families and observers have questioned whether a different aircraft might have changed the outcome. Another significant area of debate centered on the rules of engagement, ROE. Reports from the mission indicated that an AC-130 gunship was overhead, providing surveillance. The gunship crew reportedly spotted the insurgents moving into position to attack the helicopter, but were denied permission to engage them before they could fire. The official reasoning was a lack of positive identification and a desire to avoid civilian casualties. This led to a painful and ongoing debate about whether the ROE in Afghanistan had become too restrictive, preventing troops from taking necessary protective measures and placing them at greater risk. Finally, in the wake of the tragedy, various conspiracy theories emerged, most notably the idea that the shoot-down was a coordinated act of revenge for the raid that killed Osama bin Laden just 3 months prior, and that it may have involved an insider threat who leaked the mission details to the Taliban. While these theories have been compelling to some, official military investigations, including a comprehensive 57-page report, found no evidence to support them. The investigation concluded that it was a tragic but conventional act of war. The helicopter was shot down by a lucky shot from a known enemy in a known enemy stronghold. Discussing these debates is not to cast blame, but to honor the fallen by acknowledging the full, complex, and painful context of their sacrifice. The questions surrounding Extortion 17 are a part of the story, a reflection of the deep grief and the desperate search for answers that always follows such a profound loss. Beyond the battlefield, behind the steely gaze of the operator, Lou Langlais was a devoted and loving husband and father. The man who could scale sheer cliffs without a rope and confront terrorists in the dead of night was at home a gentle and engaged family man. He met his wife Anya in a moment that perfectly captured his larger-than-life profession. She was in the audience at a public event where the Leapfrogs were performing. Watching the elite parachutists descend from the sky, she was captivated by the skill and quiet intensity of one man in particular. That man was Lou. They married in 1999 and went on to build a loving family, raising 2 sons, Gabe, born in 2002, and Jack, born in 2004. Despite the all-consuming nature of his work with DevGru, with its grueling training cycles and frequent long deployments to the most dangerous places on Earth, Langlais made his family his absolute priority. Friends and fellow SEALs painted a picture of a man who mastered the difficult art of compartmentalization. He was described as ferocious on the battlefield, but gentle with his kids. He understood the immense distance, both physical and emotional, that separated his 2 worlds, and he worked tirelessly to bridge it. Teammates recounted how he would often call home between missions, his voice a calm presence from a world of chaos. These weren't just the standard cursory check-ins. He would ask about the small, seemingly mundane details of his boys' lives, how their school day went, what they were learning, what games they were playing, even what they had for dinner. These small moments of normalcy were his lifeline, his way of staying grounded and connected to the family he loved so deeply, the family that represented the very world he was fighting to protect. This duality, the fearless warrior operating in the darkness, and the tender father reaching out across continents to hear about a school project, speaks volumes about the incredible depth and complexity of his character. He was a man who contained multitudes, a hero who never lost sight of what truly mattered. The legacy of Master Chief Lou Langlais is one of extraordinary courage, quiet professionalism, and the ultimate sacrifice. His name is now permanently etched on the Global War on Terror Memorial Wall at the National Navy UDT SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce, Florida, a hallowed place where his memory will forever be honored alongside his fallen brothers in arms. His story has become a powerful source of inspiration. The Travis Manion Foundation, an organization dedicated to empowering veterans and the families of the fallen, and built on the principle embodied by its namesake First Lieutenant. Travis Manion, USMC, frequently uses Lou Langlais' life as an inspiring example. His journey exemplifies the Foundation's simple but profound motto, "If not me, then who?" His life serves as a powerful lesson for young people in courage, selfless service, and the profound moral imperative to step forward and take responsibility in the face of adversity. In a deeply meaningful and permanent tribute from a grateful nation, the United States Congress passed legislation in December 2016 to officially name the post office building located at 1221 State Street in his adopted hometown of Santa Barbara, California, as the Special Warfare Operator Master Chief, Petty Officer, SEAL, Louis Lou J. Langlais Post Office Building. This public commemoration ensures that his name, his service, and his sacrifice will be remembered by the community he called home, a permanent public acknowledgement of a life that was largely lived in the shadows. But perhaps his most enduring legacy is found in the way he inspired those around him. The quote attributed to him before leading his team on grueling mountain training exercises perfectly encapsulates his leadership style and the unique ethos of the community he belonged to. Before embarking on a miserable, arduous climb, he would often encourage his men with a wry, understated piece of black humor. "All right, guys, listen up. There'll be no girls, no good food, no water, and you might die. Let's go." This wasn't just a joke, it was a philosophy. It was an acknowledgement of the hardship to come, an embrace of the challenge, and an unspoken expression of trust in his men to endure it with him. It was a reflection of the mindset he had honed decades earlier on the lonely rock faces of California, that the greatest rewards are found in the most difficult challenges. This is the spirit he instilled in his teammates, the standard he set, and the legacy he left behind. In the end, we are left with the powerful dual images of Lou Langlais. There is the young man, alone on a vertical wall of granite, suspended between the earth and the sky, his mind a fortress of calm, his movements a study in precision. And there is the Master Chief, the senior enlisted leader, laden with gear in the belly of a helicopter, flying into the darkness of a hostile valley, his focus entirely on the safety of his men and the success of the mission. His life was a quiet refutation of the idea that one must be loud to be strong. He was a man of action, not words. His story is not one of fame or public recognition, but of a deeper, more profound kind of greatness, forged in the crucibles of extreme sport and elite warfare. He was the boy who lost his father and found a family in the brotherhood of climbers and warriors. He was the operator who reached the absolute pinnacle of his dangerous profession, yet remained the gentle father who just wanted to hear about his son's day. The story of Lou Langlais is a solemn reminder that the peace and security we often take for granted are guarded by a thin line of quiet professionals, like him, men and women who possess an extraordinary blend of skill, courage, and unwavering commitment. He did not seek the spotlight, but his sacrifice in the Tangi Valley, alongside his 37 brothers in arms, cast a long, enduring light. It's a light that illuminates the true meaning of service, the incredible price of freedom, and the profound legacy of a man who truly mastered the art of locking down fear and living a life of consequence.